Moving on, the only thing we really have left is, Matt, did you have anything? I should ask, do you have anything that you needed to, I know you've already talked. But.
I know there's been a number of, again, I apologize for being a little bit late here. Mike and I had talked about some things a little bit earlier today. Like I said, we had our department head meeting. Like we talked about at the meeting, I asked them voluntarily, if you would like to identify some things in your budget that you can live without, then I will do my best to go after those things first. If not, expect cuts. I also told the department heads that, the legislature is the appropriating body of this new government, and that, if you feel that you need to advocate for something in your budget that I cut, that I will not hold that against you. Feel free to do that during the process. So I didn't want them to feel like they could not, come to you, and because I believe, it's more of a function of the legislature. So we had a good department head meeting, and those conversations are ongoing. The next couple of weeks is going to be quite a grind, and I'm really hopeful that we can get you something to work with for Labor Day. So just keep plugging on.
Thank you. What we were going to try to finish up or do tonight was just set our timeline or get a rough sketch of it, and it's really the only other business we were going to try to accomplish, I guess. But when we look at, you guys don't have to stay for this. You can stay if you want to, but
I was riveted on your comments.
no.
Well, we got to cut the overtime, so go.
So when we look at what's going to happen here and trying to lay this out, September 5th, the county executive should submit to us his budget. And when we look at the 5th, I think we find it's on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Or Monday? Monday. It's on Labor Day.
Yes.
So Matt had said that he was going to try his best to get us something by the 2nd, which is a Friday, to give us that Labor Day weekend. We're supposed to meet with the county executive and the treasurer to go over that document.
Hold on 1 second. If Matt does indeed bring it on the 2nd, I'm not here for one thing. I'm not working that day, but I guess what I would want to know in advance is he could leave them and you guys are going to come in and get them.
Or they can electronically email it to us.
That, if you remember right, is always an issue. Sean,
Can't do it.
it's too big.
Yep.
It can't get. So you're going to have to physically come in and get it prior to the weekend,
Yep.
or otherwise you're not going to get it until.
Have the sheriff deliver it. They've
Get
delivered.
out of town, come on.
They've delivered before.
Deb is saying, but hold on, Deb is
deliver
saying that we
documents.
could put it could be put on the website, make it a private section.
Yeah.
where you can-
Why don't we just
so
pick a
could-
place out where we can pick them up?
Pick them up right here.
It's
I'm just saying, if somebody really can't get it, the sheriff's department's riding by all of our houses at some point or another.
No, that's not a good idea. That's not a good use
Strike
of,
that.
it's not a good use of the
From
sheriff's
any of your
department.
notes.
Let's figure out a way to pick
Keep
them up.
that
someplace.
thought in your head, Mike.
Yeah, they do that all the time.
No, I know they do, but it's not a good use of
Keep
the.
thoughts in your head, my friend.
Recorder in the room.
Oh,
I'm not saying anything that doesn't happen. They do this all the time.
nobody brings
Doesn't
anything to my
It
house.
doesn't matter, I don't want to see it done anymore. Let's just let it go.
So pick them up on, if he can do this, you have Friday to pick it up, or
But we don't know if Matt is.
I will pick them up someplace and drop
I'll
them and
come
have them here.
I pick
That's
up
not a problem,
everything.
I can do that.
just pick them up at the executive's office.
I'll do that,
Well, Jamie could actually pick it up.
okay? That's not a
So
problem.
why don't you find out
I live
if
8
Matt
miles
is going
away.
to be prepared to give it to
2
you
left
guys
turns
on the
to
2nd?
get here.
Question is, do you
All right.
feel you're going to be prepared to have the actual in-hand budget by September 2nd?
Friday the 2nd.
Absolutely.
So if he gives it to us the 2nd or before, not the 2nd before, but the 2nd
My
of
sister's
September.
wedding is that weekend, so I'm gonna get that budget done and then go enjoy next weekend.
And you know what, if he's got it a hair before that, that's good too. He just says he's got to get it to us by the 5th. If you have it Wednesday or Thursday and we can all
Yeah.
get it, that'd be great. So with that in mind, and we look at the next week, Monday is Labor Day. We're supposed to meet with you the 10th. I was thinking we had a file report by the 10th. 20th. We don't have to file a report to the 25th. So if it's a matter of us talking about your document with the county treasurer, that can be on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday the 9th.
Okay. When?
I mean, the normal Tuesday nights are great for me because I don't schedule anything on Tuesday nights anyway. So if we want to stick to Tuesdays, that would make a whole lot of sense, I think.
So the 6th,
Is 7 okay?
Absolutely. I mean, you'd obviously, it's your decision. I can do 6, 7, I can do 5.
I prefer earlier than later, but 6.
Yeah, I just can't do too much. I could probably try it 6. Well, you're just,
Six?
you're just giving us.
Shirley, you
not
write
like-
this stuff down?
I'm putting it on a calendar here. So on September 6th, you're following the.
6 o'clock.
The one that says by September 10th. The executive
Yes.
treasurer shall meet with Budget and Finance Committee.
That's just to
Right.
discuss with us his document, talk to us what you did about it, give us all the
There's gonna be,
information.
there's gonna be a lot of information.
What time are you meeting?
6.
6.
Okay, can I just say, if you.
Is that
get
a
the
budget and
document on
finance
this-
meeting?
No. But if you get the document on Friday the 2nd, Labor Day weekend, you're gonna have 3 days to look at it before you talk to Matt.
Do you have the charter? I think it says within 5 days, so that time frame actually works.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have the charter with me, but I think it says within 5 days.
No, it says that the
Well,
county,
these
hang on
dates are
just a
pursuant
second.
to
It
the
says
charter.
here that the county executive and county treasurer shall meet with the budget and finance committee. That means it's a budget and finance committee meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So September 6th is 6 o'clock.
But I'm telling you, I could be a little late, so you'll just have to open the meeting if we're doing it at 6. All right, and then we have, from then until the 25th, the Budget and Finance Committee, the legislature shall conduct a public hearing, so we need to schedule a public hearing.
Okay, so that's, can we talk about that? Because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 19th, 20th, and 21st,
We're not here.
we're all at NISAC.
Yep.
May I ask this, do we need to have a resolution to schedule a public hearing, and should we do that at our August meeting?
And we're not going to have our regular meeting on the 20th, so we need to.
Or we just have to advertise?
We just advertise.
You don't need a resolution to give notice.
No.
Okay.
we just have
If you want
have-
to, if you're deciding today that this is the date you want.
We're
then we
okay?
can-
All right, so let's pick a date.
Did we reschedule the 20th?
Just bear in mind with that date is the 25th is the date your report is due, the budget and finance report.
Yeah, we're gonna
is
wanna
due.
meet before
So you
then.
want to give yourself time on that hearing.
So, what week is everybody going here?
The 19th, 20th, and 21st.
So, can't we meet the following Tuesday, the 13th?
We
There's a
we
27th.
absolutely have to have committees on the 13th in order to have a full board meeting.
On the
in
27th.
That's what I'm saying,
September.
so can't we have this meeting on that same date?
Which date?
You can on
The
the
13th.
13th, but you're really pushing it.
Why, you got
We
12
could have a
days.
committee on the 13th, and then we could have a full meeting on the 27th.
No, you're talking about
Public hearing on the 13th. I think that's,
That's too fast.
Just, you're having a public hearing on the 13th.
that gives you time to get your report together on the 25th.
Okay, pick a time for the public hearing if we start committees at
Have the
6.
public hearing prior, 5:55.
But you just
Yeah.
said you're not gonna be here
I said on the,
on the 6th.
She
on the
knows to
6th.
just wait until we've made up our minds. You're a smart girl.
We're meeting with Matt on the 6th.
Okay.
That's the meeting, I may not be here right at 6 o'clock. Now we're talking about the 13th for the public hearing.
So public hearing at 5:55.
That's the primary. Are you kidding? Well, I'm not, I didn't mean so dramatic, sorry.
It's a public hearing for them to come. It isn't like you have to be here to answer a question for it. It's the public hearing.
Yeah, we're not, it doesn't, if you're working.
Oh.
But we have
Public
to
hearing, we're
have,
gonna call the meeting to order and
we
listen to
have to
anybody
have
from the
committee
public.
meetings that night as well, or see what
Well,
we have.
I understand.
And then,
I won't be here.
the Budget and Finance Committee of the legislature shall conduct a public hearing on the tentative budget as submitted by the county executive. That'll be on the 13th. The Budget and Finance Committee shall then review the tentative budget submitted by the county executive and file a report. We can already be reviewing that. And on the 13th, which is 2 weeks away, have any discussions we need and talk about it that night. And then we need to file a report with Matt. My question was,
Actually,
huh,
you file it with,
with a clerk, right? Go ahead, dude. I see you're saying.
No, I was just thinking that, given the forecast of what the budget is going to be like, and there's going to be very little discretionary spending for us to spend a lot of time over. It's going to be cut pretty much by the time we get it. So I'm not sure how much we're going to have to deliberate to begin with. And the harder the budget gets to make, the fewer choices you have.
You're right.
so then the last piece is after you've done all of your reviews and your discussions and the report has been filed and everyone agrees or disagrees on it, you have to have the last public hearing prior to October 5th.
Which I think we should do the night of the full board meeting in September, which would be
On
September
the 27th.
27th.
So you just moved it up a week, which is,
Well, it's
The
moved it
schedule's always
up.
going to be subject to change, but it's really good to map it out right now.
You know,
well, I
we're just-
can't change if I give notice for those two public
We'll stick
hearings.
to the
So
public-
the public
Let's stick to the
hearings
public
are.
hearing now.
Okay.
and this is just gonna be a
So you
public
have
hearing.
10 days or so.
So you're gonna give notice now that we're gonna have this, both of these
Yeah.
public hearings, one on the 13th, one on the 27th?
Yeah, I can get that in the paper sooner than.
I was talking with Terry earlier, I think a plan should be that we're gonna meet with Matt to discuss what he gave us, right? Now, says we submit a report. I mean, we can talk with Matt about things that we think are necessarily the items that we need to talk about, and that can be in our report. That should be our report, right? So look, I see there's a couple jobs here, or I see that something's happened. That should be part of our report. I think we just keep a running list of what those items are, and I'm not talking, and I think it should be I mean, you're not gonna be voting on it, but I think that a majority of us should be agreeing on what that issue is to enter into the document. I don't know that you necessarily need a vote on every one of them, because you're not changing the budget or anything, but you need to get a survey from the legislature. I'm not gonna put in one, I don't like the yellow pen, so I'm gonna write that in there. I think it needs to be at least 5 people saying, I don't like the yellow pen.
Well,
And then, again, we're not changing the budget, we're
No,
just telling them what our feelings are.
but you gotta have some kind of voting process, because that's what we did last year. You know, if somebody makes a recommendation to make a cut, then you obviously have to see if there's, support.
Well, that was
With
gonna
the
be
whole
my next
board.
question. The next date, we go to the second page, is you, as a legislature, after you have the hearing, have to schedule a special meeting by October 10th.
That's where we make the cuts. That's where we make the cuts. What I'm saying
And
is
that's
for the
when you would
report
have
alone.
resolutions.
That's when you go through line by line.
That's when we go through and decide to cut.
So
What I'm
can-
saying is in that report on
So can
the
we
20.
pick out a date for that? It has to be prior to the 10th of October. October 4th is a Tuesday. The
What?
10th is a Monday, which I think is a holiday.
Yeah, if we hit the 27th for the public hearing, we could do the 4th of October, because we will have had the public hearing.
Correct. Doesn't
Mr.
do
Chairman, just one item. By what mechanism will a department head be able to respond to something that we cut from their budget? We just heard them now, just in pretty much general form. But just as a, for instance, if a position gets cut from Department ABC, how does that department head say, you can't do that because I need them for this reason?
Let's think about this. Let's make believe we make that cut. We do it on October 4th. By October 23rd, the county executive shall approve or veto. Let's hold a special meeting between the time of our cuts.
No, read the 15th. If you have failed to act, the budget is considered adopted. You have to adopt the budget by the 10th of October.
What I would,
I understand. What I'm saying is if they don't like what we did, which is what Duke is saying, they have from after that date up until when Matt can veto on the 23rd. We should hold a special session for them. A public session in which they can come. The bitch to us isn't going to do anything other than allow the outcry to go to Matt if he wants to entertain
Well, they
it.
might, they need to be heard.
And they'll be heard.
Or you could have your special meeting on the 4th, if there's a lot of outcry, whatever changes, and not actually adopt the budget that night.
See, I think
And wait until, you have until the 10th.
there should be a juncture at which point those department heads who prepared these budgets initially see the cuts that we've made and have an opportunity to address them.
So are you saying we make cuts, but we don't officially make cuts?
No, we can make them, but we may amend or change based on what we hear.
We couldn't we? We could actually do our October 4th deal, put it in place, have another meeting to listen to them, and either act on what they've said to us or not, and then adopt it.
Right.
Or just to throw this out there, if a department head objects to one of my cuts in the executive budget, they have the public hearing on the 6th, I believe it is. And then if there are objections to the legislature's, say, cuts or additions, then they could take those concerns directly to me in the form of a veto or form of a veto.
But the thing is, what Duke is saying is if they take those objections to us and make a good point to us, they sell us on it, we could actually make those changes before it gets to you.
Okay, so similar to like say last year when, we were talking about Lucille's furniture and we took that out and then she came in and said, she hasn't bought furniture in 20 years, remember that? And it was like, that would be an example of okay. Actually,
Yeah, that gives us a chance so we're not throwing it all back on your lap and we're doing our
It would
job.
be nice to get through without vetoes and have it be done.
Maybe nobody will want to, but at least if, I agree with Duke, if we do October 4th, make our cuts.
or maybe an idea would be to circulate to department heads that these are the dates the legislature is meeting to discuss and review the budget. If you have objections to anything that was made in the executive's budget, please come on this date and make make it clear what your issues were with the cuts, and then you have that knowledge going into October 4th.
But what happens if, that's one scenario, but what happens if they're okay with what he did because he didn't cut, but then we cut?
Right.
That's what Duke is saying. We wanted to give those department heads a chance to come in and say to us after we cut, so we can cut without actually adopting it.
Well, the way you go through your cuts, or at least last year, the way we did it was a resolution for each cut. So what you could do is say in your notification to department heads, say October 4th is when the legislature is making a final determination, for their budget on cuts. Please be present that day, and then as you go through the cuts line by line on that day, you can ask the department head if they wish to be heard on any of them, and if they have an objection to something you're wishing to cut, they can make their point at that time.
But then,
And then
then you folks are gonna have to submit to Cheryl long in advance what those cuts
Say
are
that.
in order to publicize them, and you're gonna have to,
You're gonna need to get it, I would say,
before the public hearing.
Well,
before the public hearing on the 27th,
wait
yeah.
a minute, that mechanism might work, okay? If we're going through a given department's budget once we receive it from the county executive, we'll just ask that they be present on that evening. If we have any questions, or they feel they need to be heard, we'll give them that opportunity at that point in time.
That would work. The problem will be if we then again make changes to that, like say we don't restore it and we cut it deeper, but then we will have already
Well, we
heard.
will have heard from them. And
Yeah.
they will-
There's always the veto process.
I think that's the best way. Make sure they're present when we're doing that portion of the budget, their portion.
When we're doing the review of his initial cuts.
Right.
His initial budget, which would be September
September 13th.
Thank you.
13th. That would be September 13th.
Wait, what's happening September 13th?
So, but what I was wondering is if
On
you're gonna
September
set the
13th,
meeting.
he's going to review his budget he submits to us. What Duke is saying, I think, is,
No, on the 6th, you guys are meeting at 6 o'clock with the executive and the treasurer.
on the 6th. On the 6th, those people have the opportunity, because they will have all had your budget, right? They'll have an opportunity to come in on the 6th and say, oh geez, we disagree with that, right? We could ask them questions. They could give their opinions on why Matt may be wrong or why it's devastating, whatever. We will have heard from them.
We're reviewing it on the
Right.
6th.
But we need to let them know that
That's what I'm
that's,
interested in.
we just need to let them know that's the plan. Nobody has to come, we're not scheduling times. He's gonna go down through the budget, we'll ask questions, and I don't have a problem to say, hey, they wanna chime in, raise your hand, well, you know, it doesn't
Right.
it could be an informal, I'm not.
I think that's good.
And you're gonna
What-
see, a majority of the departments you're gonna see very little change. Again, we're talking about the 4 or 5 big departments where we're gonna spend the bulk of our time discussing,
That's
so.
why I don't wanna line up another whole
Exactly.
time for them to come in time slots, because, you know,
Well, essentially, it's going to be based on their response to the executive's budget.
So,
They feel there's
They're
something
probably-
burning that they want to come here and talk about, then
they're probably gonna
they're
know.
open, they have an open invitation, and they're
I
free.
just wanna make sure they have that invitation.
can,
Exactly.
And I'm also, any significant cuts that, you know, again, I've listened to them, they're gonna get a personal call from me, letting them know what's going on, and,
Okay.
and, you know, and I'll reiterate that, if you wanna, you know, go- like I said, if you wanna go and make your case, make your case.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I'm fully confident in that. I'm just talking by way of process.
Okay.
That's right.
if I could just clarify, and excuse me for this, but on the 2nd, Matt, county executive is gonna give us the
He's
budget.
gonna try to get through
So-
second or before,
Okay. And then on the 6th, we're gonna meet to go over it.
which is a Tuesday.
Tuesday, right? And then the 13th, we're gonna have,
On the 13th, we have a public hearing at 5:55. That's your first public hearing that you have to hold. That's just in regard to what Matt's tentative as presented, not what you guys are doing.
So they're gonna,
But then also keep in mind on the 13th, after that public hearing, we have to have committees for resolutions in order to have a full board meeting in September, because that is our only Tuesday night.
Right.
that we do
I
that.
won't be here.
Okay.
why, we'll be out by 9.
So, Tom, 2 questions for you. So if you have your special meeting on October 4th, first of all, what time do you want to hold that special meeting? Do you want to stick to 6 or 7?
Is that a Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
6 is fine.
And then I think what we did last year, if I remember correctly, we actually scheduled, we planned on 2 different dates for a special meeting in the event we needed to go to a next one, because it'll happen so quick before the 10th of October. So, I mean, not that it would happen, but do you want to, I don't know, do you want to set one for Thursday, the 6th, just in case
Thursday, the 6th of,
of October? I think it'd be better to be safe than.
what do we need that meeting for?
Just in case it runs
Just in case
over.
on the 4th, let's just say Martin decides to come here with 50 line-by-line resolutions.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we don't know how
On the 4th?
that's gonna go.
I think this was.
4th and 5th or 4th and 6th.
I mean,
4th is the day, the 6th is the,
It's
It's the 6th is in the event we need to.
yeah, can you do that though? Because I don't
Yeah,
want
I
to come
mean,
here
I
the
can
6th
make
and have to be here
notice
for
to-
no reason either.
Well, you could
No, no,
schedule
I
it
can
and then you could
notice.
cancel it.
Right.
if
Then you
there's-
cancel?
there's no
Okay.
need.
Right.
All right.
So
Now,
4th and
I would
6th.
ask you to do this. Once we have this drafted,
I'm gonna send
Could
it
you-
out to everybody.
yeah, could you please send it out so everyone knows? Even if you want to, send that to the, is there a problem with sending that to the department heads to let them see our schedule? And maybe put a blurb there under that date that this is the opportunity for department heads to,
do we do the 4th and the 6th?
that would be their invite.
Right.
Cheryl, that would be their invite from us.
Okay. Are you okay with that, Matt? Did I send the schedule out to the department heads?
Yeah, I mean, you could send it over to Andy and we can send it out.
4th,
And then the last piece, not that anybody wants to talk about it, was if Matt ends up vetoing, you guys keep the date in mind of October 31st.
We'll have time.
yeah.
I mean, because then, by then it's, We got 3 weeks?
So the 4th and the 5th, or the 4th and the 6th?
4th and the 6th,
4th and the
you.
6th.
both of them at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
All right. Let's keep an open mind that let's put this all together through the email process, whatever, if we need to tweak it a little bit.
That's working.
I'll send it to the whole legislature
Yeah.
first because you're missing like 4 people.
Remember, a lot of these meetings are public hearings that, whether they're here or not, that's for the public.
Right.
Well, there's a little more.
We could all be.
So, I'm saving my comments from
Can't
the
say
meeting's
that
adjourned.
right now.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion
Oh, I
to adjourn.
remember that.
Second?
So